Hi, my name is Alyssa Carson, and ever since I was a little girl, I have always been interested in wanting to become an astronaut and the idea of traveling to Mars one day. Looking back, I don't remember everything in my childhood, but the best guess I can really come up with, and same for my dad, the best thing that he can kind of come up with, is that it might have been an episode of The Backyardigans, which is this little cartoon I used to watch all the time on Nickelodeon, and basically they had a Mission to Mars episode. And I even had the poster for that episode, Mission to Mars, hung up in my bedroom. And it's really the only place we can think of as to where I would have heard the word Mars or space or anything like that. So that's kind of where my passion for space began, really just starting to ask questions about space and Mars, and I've developed a love for space and passion for it and wanting to pursue some sort of career in it ever since. So I really started out by just asking for any information I could get about space, whether that was going to the library and looking for books or videos or posters, anything like that. I eventually got the opportunity to go to Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama, which was really amazing. And there it was just where I kind of flourished in learning all this information about space, history of space, the future of space, building my own model rocket, playing astronaut, all these really fun things. But that really helps me explore what I would actually want to do in space and what was actually going on in the space industry and what opportunities were there. So kind of growing up, I continued to go to different camps along the way. Space Camp in Izmir, Turkey, Space Camp in Laval, Canada, Virginia Spaceflight Academy, just all sorts of different things to kind of learn as much as I could about what was going on in the space industry and what opportunities there were to kind of help me figure out what I wanted to do. From then on, I eventually joined Project POSSUM, which is a citizen science research organization. So POSSUM actually stands for Polar Suborbital Science in the Upper Mesosphere, which basically just means that we do science, especially dealing in the atmosphere, but we do all sorts of other science as well. So for example, with Project POSSUM, I've been able to do some really amazing research opportunities such as microgravity flights, water survival training, G-force training, decompression, spacesuit evaluations. We work a lot with Final Frontier spacesuit design, which has been really awesome. So that's been a really amazing opportunity I've been able to have doing real life research while in high school and now in college. So currently I am a sophomore in college studying astrobiology at Florida Tech in hopes to be an astrobiologist, and then in turn applying that into space. So ever since I was little, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, kind of landed on astrobiology, and then since then I've been building a resume and building up those skills to eventually apply to the astronaut selection process. So that's kind of my goal and kind of how I've gotten to this point. And so a little bit about what's actually going on right now in the space industry and kind of the hopes for the future. So looking right now, the plans, or the current plans really, are to go back to the moon sometime in the 2020s and then on to Mars in the 2030s. So that is kind of the time frame that we're hoping for. There's a brand new rocket, the SLS Space Launch System, and Orion capsule. Both of those are going to be new to the space industry once they are fully built and prepared and ready for humans to take flight. And those are going to be the components that are going to get us to Mars for the first time. So that's all really exciting. There's a whole lot of science to be done in terms of Mars and also going back to the moon. Going back to the moon is really going to be a lot of just testing and learning about the new rocket, how it works. Is it safe for people? Is it capable of even bringing us to the moon? If it can't get us to the moon, then it most likely can't bring us to Mars. So that's really going to be the whole point of the Artemis program, which we will start seeing more development in the next coming years. But really the grand scheme of things for a mission to Mars is that we would have this brand new rocket bring us to Mars, which should take around 6 months or so. And then once the astronauts are actually on Mars, they'll spend around a year there doing all sorts of science, research, all of the typical things you would picture an astronaut doing on the red planet. But at the same time, they'll also be doing a lot of housekeeping, whether that's changing air filters or maintaining some sort of garden to have a better food supply and those sorts of things. And that's really going to be what the astronauts are doing while they are on Mars, hopefully learning lots of amazing things. The goal with Mars is that we have so many crazy ideas of colonizing Mars, terraforming Mars, yet we really need a better understanding of how realistic those goals are and what we can actually do with them. Eventually, the astronauts will come back, 6 to 9 month journey back, and then that will be the end of that mission. So a lot of exciting things to look forward to in the space industry, as well as the idea of commercial space coming into play. You know, SpaceX has now sent astronauts to space, which has been really exciting. But it's going to be really interesting to see all of that develop, whether SpaceX continues to send astronauts to the International Space Station, whether SpaceX has ideas of going to Mars, Virgin Galactic with space tourism. It's going to be a whole lot of space coming up in the next few years. So that should be something really excited, especially for those who are interested in pursuing some sort of space career. So the good thing to hear really is that there is going to be a whole lot of opportunities within the space industry. I definitely think that with going back to the moon coming up soon, eventually going to Mars coming soon, as well as SpaceX, Virgin, Blue Origin, not to mention all the other companies, and globally as well, how active we are being in space right now. So I truly believe that we're going to be getting to a point where there's more astronauts, more jobs in space, more talk of space, so that's all really exciting. So if you are someone who is interested in pursuing some sort of space career, I can give you some advice in that, or honestly, it definitely can relate towards any dream whatsoever or any career here on Earth as well. But I want to give a few tips that I've learned through my experiences, and hopefully share it with you guys. So definitely the first step is really just deciding what you want your dream to be. There are so many different choices of what we can actually do with our lives, and so a lot of times that can be super intimidating, but it's all about what you're passionate about. I definitely think that it's totally worth being obsessed with whatever you're going into and enjoying what you do. So I do think that we all have a passion for something or an interest for something that we can pursue, and you can kind of look back at school, you know, what are you more interested in, what subjects are you interested in, because something like math can be a math teacher versus an engineer, which are two very different things but both involve math. So you can kind of adventure to all sorts of different careers, especially looking within the space industry. There's a lot of careers that we don't typically think of but are definitely there. You definitely do not have to study some sort of science or STEM major to actually be involved with space. There's a whole lot of psychology involved, journalism, and so much more other majors that you can actually apply to space. There's someone who has to prepare all the food that goes up to the astronauts. There's someone who has to study the food psychology and what astronauts eat and what they eat and when they eat it and how that affects them. So there's a whole lot of opportunities that you guys can look into to actually start finding what you're interested in. So look to kind of connect. You know, if you're interested in food but also interested in space, figure out ways to connect those to do something that you're really going to love. The second bit of advice I can really give you is really to be vocal about what your dreams are. It's so important to tell people what you're interested in doing because you never know where those opportunities are going to come from. So let's say, for example, you're interested in robotics and eventually want to pursue space robotics. That was something totally awesome. And even when you're young, you can get involved in building your own robot, going to robotics competitions, which is already going to start building your resume and getting you well along into a career in robotics. But while you're at those robotics competitions, it's important to tell someone like, hey, yeah, I love building robots, and you know, in the future I hope to get involved in space robotics. And even that little statement or telling someone a little thing that you might be interested in space robotics, you know, they could say, oh, I happen to know someone who knows someone who's interested in space and works in the industry, or someone who actually does that as a job. So you really never know where those opportunities are going to come from. So I really want to encourage you to be vocal about your dreams and tell everyone what you want to do. I know that when I was younger, saying I want to be an astronaut and go to Mars, it sounded like the absolute most crazy thing, but I promise it's becoming more and more of a reality the more I've worked towards it. So don't be afraid to tell people what you want to do, because if it is something that you're passionate about, then you can definitely make it a reality. Now, the third topic that I really want to touch on here is the importance of having some sort of support system or some sort of person in your life that is there to tell you that you can keep going and tell you that you can get to where you want to be. For me, it was really my dad, because when I was younger, saying that I wanted to be an astronaut and go to Mars, he was super encouraging of just telling me, yes, you can do whatever you want to do, and he didn't really have anything else to say but support me and go to camps with me, travel with me, and all of that. So that's been really amazing to have just a constant support. So looking at your own life, whether that is a parent or a friend or a teacher, it really can be anyone, but just having someone to kind of be by your side or every now and then just tell you, yeah, you got this, or have some sort of support can make a huge difference. There's so many different things that we do that has been that we really need support to kind of help us along. Even in a lot of the different trainings or research that I've done, it's always been amazing to have either like a team member or someone just encouraging you along the way. So I'd really urge you to find someone or someone in your life to really support you in what you're doing to help you follow your dreams, but also remember that it's important that you possibly could be that person for someone else. So continue to look for that person to help support you in your dreams, or if you've already found them, really keep them close, because it makes a huge difference when you're going after your dreams. But I definitely believe that we can all accomplish our own dreams in our own way. We have so many big ideas and big dreams that we want to accomplish. For example, like the mission to Mars is a very large dream, but we do it with thousands and thousands of people all around the country contributing to make that a reality, and they're even working today, even though that the mission is several years away. So there's a whole lot of hard work that goes into achieving dreams, and whether that is pursuing a career or taking up a new position at your job that you already have, or starting a new project, a new goal, whatever it may be, all these things can kind of contribute to that and really make it feel more realistic and something that you can do. Just remember that if you're passionate about it, if it's something that you really want to do, you can achieve it. So really follow your dreams. Never let anyone take your dreams away from you. And yeah, really just stick with it, because you never know where those opportunities or where you might lead to. So yeah, I just really want to encourage you to stick with whatever your dreams are. I think that the worst is to look back and regret on it. So even though it may sound crazy, absolutely go for it. And yeah, continue to hopefully support the space industry. It is really amazing to see space becoming slightly more trendy recently. So that's been really amazing to see. So I really loved seeing public support, because I truly believe that we can't do anything in the space industry without that. So continue to follow your own dreams, support space, and I hope to see you guys either working in the space industry or achieving whatever your dreams may be. Thank you.